We're broad. Finished. We're broadcasting as usual. We're going to do a very brief broadcast today, quickie, because got a lot of emails to get you today and tomorrow. Want to do the shift as we are at this interface of August and September. We want to turn back time, give you back your spring, extend your springs to all years rounds, and have us in the new paradigm, because those who are thinking conventionally have to understand you have been mind programmed by a small group of people that are not normal in their human bonding. They don't have much regard for you. And you have to wake up and understand that a game has been played on you, particularly on women, and that it's affecting younger people, and it's affecting everyone's health, and it's affecting the health of the planet. So we'll fix that, and let's do our ceremony. You're the Co-Secretary General's Co-Secretary Equinox Recuse, ELLECT, and you're going to help everyone else have divine democracy too. Right. And let's start with our, we have the Statue of Liberty on the screen, and we are then showing the group of Statues of Liberty. Here are the group of Statues of Liberty on every continent. And then our New Millennial Golden Rule, linking to the website, 5050now.com, and has your pictures all over there. And here's the marvelous, miraculous, virtuous gathering place from which we will enter our new millennial universe of stargates reconnecting planets. Yes, it sounds strange, but it is not that strange. And so now let's bring forth our important recording that we'd like to start our broadcast out with. Let's bring forth our important recording that we'd like to start our broadcast with. We have shown all our graphics on the screen, and here we are. Let's play this.
Although she said she couldn't do the name for everybody, you just don't think that. That's when she came back and started to spell again with the global center. Her whole lot was to have her children there. She didn't try so just to get along, have enough to eat. She was careful, very careful. And there was a sister, Clara.
All right, and now we'll do our ceremony. And let me say something. I, most of my life, presumed that most women wanted gender parity. And I think to some extent, at some level, they do. Consciously don't. Some unconsciously don't. Many consciously and unconsciously do. But there's a bunch in our culture who consciously don't want parity and want to keep patriarchy going. And this is among women now I'm talking about. And then there's also a group that unconsciously is ambivalent. And there's a large group of that in the North American culture. And almost everyone would want parity if they were properly informed. But since they're not properly informed, they don't know what they want. They want the wrong thing. So let's do our broadcast. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both and each and every one as soon as possible. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both and each and every one as soon as possible. And we'll say, Namaste, Vitakuye Oyasin, Mitakuye Kosegaral, Kongs Pax, Pax culture. Tubes, Sedleric, Tubes, Lahabah, Lakayim, Shalom, Salam, Soul, Salam, Shalom. Soul is Persian. merci, Ubuntu, buenos dias, ciao, schlanzavag, chinque, chop chop, sayonara, das vidanya. Did I say pace, mir, pace, and good day and cheerio, good day. And let's say, let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper, all both in each and every one. Now, and as soon as possible, it's equinox cues of the Milky Way, solar, budding and blooming, marvelous, miraculous, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savior. And let's say it this way again. Let's love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper, all both in each and every one, as equinox cues, solar, budding, blooming of the Milky Ways, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savior. On this and all our planets, past, present, future, because time is not linear. It is more spiritual than we realized. And so now we have, today we're going to drink our milk of human kindness on behalf of all, both and each and every one, as representing all, both and each and every one now and as soon as possible. And especially the on-cue breastfeeding for every holy baby girl and holy baby boy in my family, your family, and all families past, present, future. And you know that there's some of you that we have been urging that we want to get you together as a group to go on here, as well as invite the Lee Winfrey family here, as well as go on the television that is so currently corrupted, to get some reality here into this world. And so we're going to drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and at all stages of our lives, as equinox cues of the Milky Ways, solar, budding and blooming, marvelous, miraculous, Co-Secretary General, Co-Savior. I drink on behalf of all, both and each and everyone, representing all, both and each and everyone now as soon as possible. As equinox cues, Co-Secretary General, Co-Savior. And now we want to bring forth our Purim and Passover, Estaras and Eastaras reminders. We have fruit juices as well as sacramental wines. It's not wise to celebrate only things that only older people can drink, is it? Aren't children important? Let's have a culture where we regard all ages important and drink both. And these are also in the Soma and the Entheans of Vedic India and in the Eleusinian mysteries and the cocoa of Latin American cultures and other drinks of ambrosia to become goddess and godlike. Let's drink on behalf of all, both and each and everyone, representing all, both and each and everyone now and as soon as possible. It's the equinox cues, budding, blooming, marvelous, miraculous, always ever growing and gardening, solar of the Milky Ways, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savior. Equinox cues. Very delicious, but not more important than the milk, and the milk was very, very delicious. And now we have our water of loving, living planets that will reclaim and sustain our planet Earth and all our Earths to be past, present, future, as equinox cues, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savior. You see the solar orbs here. We are the solar, so we are star stuff, and we are photosynthesizing. And everything that we eat and make anything with is from photosynthesis. It's all about light. You are light, okay? Let's shine our light amongst one another and out into the entire world with the new millennial golden rule. And I drink on behalf of all, both and each and everyone, representing all, both and each and everyone now and as soon as possible, as equinox cues, solar, photosynthesizing, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savior. Equinox cues. Delicious, and don't take that for granted. And now we'll do our birthday cakes. And now we know that a lot of you have birthdays in the spring months and in the autumnal months, and that you've been missing celebrations of doing them together. And by all rights, God is ready to condemn us all for that. This family, with its genealogical inheritance, doing what we've been doing and practicing only nuclear and divided familyhood, is incurring the wrath of the universe. You really got to change your ways. But I am interceding for you, and I am doing quite a bit under the surface to make changes here. And I myself am embedded in this error. I got separated from my most precious family, and I remain separated from them, but mostly by their wishes. There really isn't, obviously with the internet connection, we can have connection, we have telephone connection. It's that in-person connection that got all thrown away and thrown off. I won't say thrown away, because we didn't gather in a timely fashion with the women on the ground. And we didn't do our bonobo step, or bonobo, we know how to be goddesses. We can yet do it. It's not too late once you have the insight. So then we'll turn back time. We'll have the ability to turn back time, invite all our women, our young people, and it will change the families, and the world will change with it and become truly heavens on this and all our earth. So let's celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days, past, present, future, as equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-Sephiras, Milky Ways, marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming, always shining our lights and our heart lights. And let's say it this way again. Let's celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days as equinox QQs of the Milky Ways of solar, ever blooming, ever budding, ever blooming, ever growing gardening, co-secretary generals, co-Sephiras, equinox QQs. We are the garden, and we are also stewarding the garden. Okay, and then we have our Purim cookie and our Passover wafer. These holy days, I was reading more about Yom Kippur. It does have to do with Purim. Yom Kippurim, Yom Kippurim. You see, it is about the expected day of atonement will be a day of not fasting, but of eating, like they do on Purim, because it will be a day of in harmony with nature again. And why? Because the divine feminine will have been risen. And that's why the Purim is so in connection with the Passover and the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and all of the holy days of all the various traditions, not just one heritage, not just one, but all of them. They all overlap in this way. So we have our round cookie. We know that on Purim, the harem was made up of women from many cultures, and they were snatched from their homes in all kinds of places, and that's going on today too. And instead, we have them gathering and saying, "We anoint one another." We know that we don't have to wait for some pseudo government full of old men to make a decision for us. We already made our decisions. We want solar energy. We want democracy. We know what we want. And we also have our Passover wafer, just to remind us on Purim and on the days of promise of Passover and Easter, they had flat bread because they were only promising. They didn't know how to deliver on becoming risen, and risen without death, which is the promise of the Elysian mysteries. You don't have to die first; you just have to do some labors, and you'll get there. So. And so we are doing that, and we are including the Elysian mysteries into our traditional Judeo-Christian ceremonies, and then the whole thing comes together, and bring in a little bit of our Asian and Hindu, Vedic understanding, and we're all set. Chinese wisdom, we all got it all together here, and Native American too. So we'll all become risen, and we'll have the round bread to symbolize the females, and the oval bread to symbolize the males, risen. And then we also have our other grains here to remind us that this is not just a one cultural world. We have our rice, and we have our oats, and we thank Mother Nature for all of the food stuff that we don't need to adulterate, and we need to permaculture, not genetic modification. And let's see, so we have all that, and we have we've done that, and so now we do our consciousness currencies, and of course you know who this is. This is our Wienerian, Adelian, Morellian, Margilian, Silver Golden Kindian, Zalkindian, Feldmarian, Goldbergian, Hertzian, Herzogian, Sagan, Sweet, Sagan, Sokolov, Bukwomanian, Lichtian, Lightian, Nilarian, Nucumrian, and many, many more. Did I say Goldbergian first? Goldbergian and Malarian and Cavalarian, many, many more. We have our Lee Winfreys here. We have our Yancer Slates with the Native Americans connection, of course, first. I really should say them first. Let's say the Native Americans, and then our Lee Winfreys. Let's talk about the people who've been kind of put down in our lives, okay? And let's include them. Let the last shall be first. And then we have also our Celtic people. They went through quite a bit too, obviously. And And so we have our Bannockskakel, Cuomo, and we also have our Anglos. They went through too. We have Howell and many, many more that are all interconnected with our trade. We have Mazu, the Chinese people, and they're all connected, all related to a small group of families that started with in Africa. And I think the Garden of Eden was essentially bonobo. And then it morphed, the chimps took over, and that's when Cain slew Abel. That's when it all started out, getting aggressive. And Cain was the big chimp. Okay, so let's figure this out. And that happened because the sisters were already being treated as unimportant. So let's celebrate. We have here all the women of the Akashic record waiting to come through, and we have our current women, so very important, that don't realize that they're goddesses, and they don't have to go by tokenism anymore. They have to have parity to be appreciated as goddesses, and they should be. And then we have our younger people, females and males, around age 37 and younger, as equinoctial Qs, co-secretary generals, co-saviors, and all of us, and let's anoint one another that way. And I'll give you all I'm holding you with hugs, and I'm giving you kisses. And then we have our big branching family tree, of course, and we thank her Harriet and Ray, and her Harriet, for giving us the inspiration of gathering women and gathering the neighborhood, gathering youths and young children too, to focus on their own views and not be dictated to by men in what was going on in their lives. If they went to the synagogue or the church, there was men in the leadership. If they went to the town hall, there was men in the leadership. It was always men, old men, old men. The women and the youth were missing during this period of 20s through the 40s, but they were gathering. And now if we gather and understand that all around the world people have parity, it's only here that you don't, then you'll understand what you have to do very quickly, very easily with the New Millennial Golden Rule. So let's thank them. We start with also, let's start with our last that shall be first. Let's start with Hattie Mae, and let's start with Myrtle and Rose and Marie and Pearl. And then let's also say, of course, Grandma Popper and Grandma Margulies and Ray and Clara, and it's Harriet with Jacqueline, and Precious Antoinette with Lillian and Adele and Rose, and Beth Ann, and Risen Rose with Marie, Milk, Honey, and Flowing Kindness, and Annette, and Dorothy, learning all the lessons of Wizard of Oz, brains, heart, brains, and courage. And then we have Lynn of Everything is All Connected on This Planet, on Earth, and then we have Rachel, yes, we can open the stargates, and there's me saying, yes, everything is all connected on all the Earths. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And that we have time travel involved here. And so space-time travel, and then in our incarnation aspect, okay? And then we have, so I said that, now let's say we include Mazu, and we include Jacqueline and Rose and Eunice and many more on those branches. We include, of course, Malka and Shirley and Malka, and we include Annabelle and Lillian and Irene and Hortense and Pauline, and many were there, and there's many more whose names we could be mentioning, and we should include them all, of remembering in the Akashic record. Famous people too who were connected to Mary of Magdala and Mary of Nazareth, and their sisters, and their sister cousines, Elizabeth Katie Stanton, and her sister Harriet, and all of them implicated. Margaret Mary Lambert, wife of Tom Lambert Payne. Yeah, we're connected to all of these people. We are connected to them. We are genealogically related to them. You'll find you are connected. Everyone on Earth is connected. But we are mostly especially connected to the Atlanteans, to Pasiphae, to Ariadne, to Astrea, and many more. And so let's include that. And did I also include, I don't think I've mentioned, Astrea and Libertia. How can I forget that? Let's start them out. Astrea and Libertia, very high goddesses of the Atlantis culture, okay? And we include them all. So we have all of them. And And then we have our current generations of women who are embodiments of all of these great women in the past, also rising at the new millennium to become mature goddesses around the year 2000. We're a little bit late, but not so late that it can't work. And so we have Marian and Victoria, Mariama, Julia Marie, and I, and Alexandra, Rachel, and Juliana, and Francesca, and Barbara because she has such enormous qualifications in human bonding, and Jennifer, who also does, and Leah, who also does, and Ivanka, and Ivy, who also does, and many, many more here. And then we also have our Silver Kind family. We have Silver Golden Kind, and we have Sherry and Batya and Helene and Sherry and Batya and Helene and Arlene, Remigli and Thelma, and also we have Susan, Sarah, Jodine and Laura, remembering Beth Ann. And let me back up here and start over with let's remember Vernita and Krishnandra and Alicia and Oprah and Patricia, and let's especially start with Ma Patricia's Sunflowers and Anne Marie singing crickets, and Martha and Martha and Laura, and Sophie and Pauline, and then we have Denise and Marcia and all the Solomon coming through, the smallest Solomon community, Mrs. Light, Sylvia, Bonnie, we have Robin, we have Linda, we have many, many more coming through there, and we also have and let's include the entire school system. Let's include Karen Lewis too. Why not? All the Solomon schools, all the schools everywhere, and let's include. We have Mary and Carrie, and we have Donna and Diana. And let me back up here in a little bit and say we include remembering Giselle and Dorothy. We include Merle and Cheryl and Andrea and Meredith and Susan and many, many more on the Feldmarian branch. And then we have we have Sis and Sas, the different kinds of kins, Amy and Donna and Diana, and many, many kins and kinds. And we have, let's see, I think I said most of the people, and Rose, and we have Kathleen and Caroline and Megan and Carrie and many, many more on those branches. And then we have Shu Ann, and we have all of their, and we have, let me back up, and let's start at the top with Kasturba and Radha, and then we also have in current generations Pratibha and Sonia, and so we have to include all of them, and then we also have to include our younger people, so very important. We want to highlight them. They remind us the importance of spring now in our lives and all years round. Let's keep them young at heart and in idealism and give them the best world and worlds to start out with. And so we have Hadass, Rachel Marie, Daniel Juliet, Stacy Anastasia, Soma, Vanessa Salia, with Raquel, Lynn, and with Raquel and Lynn and Sharon, along with, let me start right at the beginning with April and Angeline and Rosa and Edith, and we have Aquarius, and then we also have Hillel and Ashira, and Hillel and Ashira, and Hillel and Ashira, and Hillel and Ashira, and Natalie and Elisa, and Natalie and Elisa, and Rebecca and Sandra, and Abby and Sarah, and there's many, and there's many, many, many more. And then we also have, equally important, our young men, Yeshai and Harlan Elizabeth Wesley and Ross, and did I mention Hesperus and Athena? Let me go back, and I think we're going to change the name of Athena to Esthlarida, to give her back her maternal connection. And it's something I'm talking about with you. And then we have Yishai and Harlan, that is Wesley, and Ross and Marcel and Itani and Eric and Jared and many, many more. And then once we anointed all of you people as co-secretary generals, co-secretaries, all of each other, then we also have coming through the stargates, all the older women come through as young women, and then we'll also come through. Of course, we'll let in to the government as they're ready for it, after they've analyzed the problems of patriarchy. Our older men who are with us today above age 37, above age 38, and then we'll have our older men coming through the stargates. And so let's give you big kisses. And of course, we include Donia Release and Marion and Miss Sweetheart, Marion and Donia and Heather and Jam and Heather and Whiskers and Tiger and Helen, Tiger and Ritter, Blackie, and Felicity and Felix, all the furry friends and the pets, and all the butterflies, the birds and bees, and all the people too of our local, global, universal neighborhoods. Let's give everyone big kisses, but especially you. And I again forgot to mention Georgine and Laura. There's others there in the Winston area. Let's include them also. And then we have that group of family that's so close in the heart, and then they're so close to me. And we want you to bring your branches. And so I'm holding up the fingers for for Victoria and Mariama. And here's Julianne Marie and I. Here's Vanessa Sali and Helen Laviz, and all of the various branches of all of the families are nearby and also around the world. So let's connect us all. And then we'll go back to our big family tree and give more kisses. If I forgot to say any names to include, I neglected to say Lee also. Let me include Lee. Lee, very important, and Maraja and Basha and Marie. And Zilvia, remembering Marija, and of course, important. And my neighbors May and Judy and Louise and Elizabeth and Margaret and Tammy and all of them. And you're all more. So here, let's give her all the kisses. To our multi-branching, very large family tree. And then, of course, we'll always say, as we always say, we'll pick parity with clarity, and we'll stop playing along with patriarchy so we don't have planeticide. We'll pick parity, past, present, future, as fresh, marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming, always gardening and growing, solar of the Milky Ways, of SZTARRS and INSZTEAD, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries, equinox QQs. Okay, and co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. And now we'll just say our usual what we always say, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings, all the greetings of all the heritage of our earth and earth, past, present, future, as equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. We'll say it again. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earth, past, present, future, as equinox QQs, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. And budding, and then we'll say milky of the Milky Way, solar, budding and blooming, marvelous, miraculous. All right, and that's our broadcast, and we're going to get some emails to you today, and so let's get this going.
To save this message, your greeting has been sent. To change extension type, press 1.